Hi friends, it's Suzanne here from sunstampin.com. I'm a Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I want to welcome you to my weekly Wildcard Wednesday video on my blog and YouTube channel. The card designs I share today are a little more technique driven, but nothing too complicated. I also sell the products I feature in this video. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you shop with me. For today's card, I'm featuring the Stamp Set Calligraphy Essentials. I have a piece of watercolor paper here and a T-square ruler. You can use any ruler. And I am drawing inch lines across the paper. So that is vertically. And then I will turn it on its side and draw them horizontally as well. So I am planning to do some watercoloring, hence the watercolor paper. So I am going to make, now that I've drawn my pencil lines, I'm going to erase them. I want to make them very faint because sometimes when you use ink as a watercoloring medium, you can actually trap the pencil underneath the ink. So I want to erase it as much as I can. So I don't trap it. All right, so I have used StazOn ink, which is a solvent-based ink. It's actually really good to use when you're watercoloring. I have a board here. This is Opus Beechwood, like plywood. It probably cost me $3 at my local art store. And this yellow tape is called frog tape. I got it at Rona. It's a hardware store here in Canada, and it is for delicate surfaces. So I have a piece of paper that is laminated, and it's a white piece of paper because I want to see my palette here. So I'm just tapping on the ink on this palette. Now you could use any piece of plastic you wanted. You can even smoosh it on a sheet, just a plastic sheet, whatever floats your boat. So the colors I'm using are Daffodil Delight, Grapefruit Grove, Lovely Lipstick, Highland Heather, Blueberry Bushel, and Coastal Cabana. I have 2 glasses of water here, a large one, which is my rinsing glass, and this small little shot glass. And I'm using that as my clear, clean water. So I will dip my brush into the clean, clear water. I will saturate my square. I will pick up my ink from my palette. I will color it in, help it along. And then I will use the thirsty brush technique where I'm actually drawing off my brush and kind of picking up any water and ink on my little square and taking some away. So it becomes a very faint color. So it's like a watercolor wash almost. So using my thirsty brush to pick up the excess ink and water. Now, I probably could have went side by side each square, but you can see I've missed, 3 squares. And this is to prevent bleeding. So one of the tips for watercoloring is that your ink will go wherever the water goes. So that's the reason why I sort of let the squares dry before I color right next to them, because if I didn't do that, I run the risk of, say, my red here running into my purple. So I didn't want to do that, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to use my little thirsty brush and collect as much of the moisture as I could, but also to like I said, I wanted it very faint. So I have basically the color of my rainbow, which I really like. And one thing I did notice when I was watercoloring with the new inks, that defoamer that they've put in there is kind of weird. It kind of bubbled up on me. So it's possible that there might have been something on my glasses, or on my brush beforehand, but I'm usually pretty careful about keeping everything clean. So anyway, I am using a silver brush number 6, in case you're curious and fanatical about paintbrushes like I am. I go into the art store and I just look at all the brushes and I want them all. I don't know what it is. I fancy myself an artist. I am by far not an artist. I've, definitely come a long way when it's come to watercoloring, but I mean, I'm not an artist, but I love all the artist things, like full set syndrome here. But anyway, the number 6 was perfect in order to, and you can see how tiny that little nibbins is on the top. It just gets right in on those little crevices. So number 6 was good for me. Now, some people have asked me about why I don't use Stampin' Up's pens, or sorry, the water brush pens. They are awesome. I have a pair. I just don't use them. And it's because of control, because I'm a control freak, because I like doing some of the techniques that I'm showing you, like the thirsty brush, which is actually really difficult to do when there's water flowing through the brush. And like I can't control. Okay, I'm just a control freak, all right, you guys? So don't give me a hard time. Isn't that the truth? I'm like totally honest here. I actually really do like the Stampin' Up's watercolor brushes. They are amazing. They are very nice. And for starting out, it is what you need. You don't have to have all the, glasses of water and shot glasses and stuff, but I chose to do it the hard way, and I think that I feel a little bit, like I said, I feel a little bit like an artist. It's fun. So, don't give me a thumbs down for it. All right, so I am continually, I'm not going to show you all of my squares because, sometimes watching other people do stuff is boring. So I will just finish up here with this one little square, and you can see that I shifted my ink squares. So I did use my heat tool on this, and I dried it till it was completely dry. Then removing my frog tape, and now I'm taking one of those white erasers and I'm erasing as best as I can anywhere that there is pencil mark. I just don't want it to be trapped, and I tried my very hardest to not trap the pencil underneath. So now I am using the Smoky Slate blends, and now isn't it great that you can buy blends again? I think it's amazing. So I'm using the nib end, so not the paintbrushy one. I find that the nib is better for these small little areas. So I just went down with my lightest Smoky Slate. Now I'm going in with my dark Smoky Slate alcohol marker, and I will go back with my light to blend the two colors together. So I will end up with a gray gradient. Isn't that nice? Now, I believe any background that is rainbow colored deserves a black mat. And it's just a thing, but I put a black mat on it. Then I'm using a Whisper White thick card base and adhering that whole front piece to the front. Now here I had an accident. Look, the Wink Estella had a little barf section. It's sort of like splooged all over my H. So I daubed up what I could, and I did try to remove some without wrecking the red, but it's just got a little bit too much glitter. Oh well, I'm not going to stop now at this point, right? So I have my fine tip glue pen, and I am just adding another layer of dimension over my sentiment. So first of all, it had the Wink Estella, and now it's got the fine tip glue pen, and I had to let that dry for a couple hours. And then these are the new glitter enamel dots that Stampin' Up is selling in the new colors. So I think that's Gorgeous Grape, and that's got to be Coastal Cabana. Anyway, that is my card for today. Hope you enjoy it and get out some of your paintbrushes and start your watercoloring. I will see you again soon. Bye! Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.